parents and the children could have fun together.
Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily.
Welcome to the My DVC Points podcast. Join the conversation as DVC members share their stories, personal preferences, and magical memories. Your reservation is confirmed, your fast passes are booked. Pull up on the yellow strap because our journey into the magic of membership is about to begin.
To infinity and beyond.
Now, here's your host and curator of magical stories, Chad Pennycuff.
Welcome home, neighbors, to episode 273 of the My DVC Points podcast. Today's show is being broadcasted to Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, live streamed everywhere, and we are talking about the November market recap report from DVC Resale Market. And to help me go over this, we've got our special, celebrity guest star at this point in time. I'm going to use those terms because he's just a fan favorite that's out there. Let's welcome Mr. Andy Berry to the show.
Good morning, all.
How are you today, Andy? I know I drug you up bright and early in California time. So
early is better for us. It doesn't matter. We're excited for a great day today and looking forward to this market recap. I can't believe this is show number 273. Can I sign up for the show from 27 episodes from now?
Sure. Yeah, we got you,
Andy. Number 300. I'd like to be on the books for number 300.
You know, we could arrange that. We could definitely arrange that, Andy.
And maybe I'll have a chance or two between now and then too.
Yeah. Well, we should figure out some kind of special thing for episode 300. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but we should definitely do that because that's definitely a milestone in this. But let's jump into today's show. And first off, I want to point out your T-shirt and wish you and everybody who celebrates Hanukkah a happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Chad, and happy holiday season, safe holiday season to everybody. With all these things going on, both domestically and internationally, we want to stay focused on family, friends, and fun.
For me personally, if I know what your faith is and I know what you celebrate, I want to call that out and mention it specifically because I think that's a greater sign of respect than just a generic one. So that's kind of my take there. But for those of you who don't know, I will say happy holidays and cover myself as well. Let's jump into this, Andy. In this show, we kind of go over like three main things, and then we kind of jazz it up and have a little bit of fun with some extra conversations. And definitely make your comments below. We will open this up at the tail end for an Ask Us Anything while you have us. But we typically talk about right of first refusal, affectionately nicknamed the ROFR monster. And what that is if I get ready to list one of my contracts and Andy finds us a buyer, Disney has the right to step in and buy that contract from me at that negotiated price. And that's called right of first refusal. Other thing we'll talk about is the average sales prices of all of the contracts that's been going on. DVC Resale Market is the world's leader here. They have we estimate around 60% of the market, if not more. The numbers that we're going to go over today kind of have some statistical significance to them because they are so representative of the market in such a large share. We'll go over what the average sales prices are happening resort by resort with some commentary. There's the sign and stay promotion. We'll cover that today as well. And then as last but not least, we're going to pick up that segment we did last time called Sleep In, Not On. And we'll be talking about how hot the Polynesian resort is. So let's kick this off, Andy, with right of first refusal report.
Did I hear the monster sleeping in the background, Chad?
He's snoring, Andy. He is definitely snoring still because we're looking at this chart here from all year. And you can see last November, he bought some Copper Creek over the winter months. I mean, who doesn't love Copper Creek at Christmas time? Okay, come on now.
I think it's got the nicest lobby aside from maybe the Grand Floridian and all the parks. Well,
definitely for Christmas time, you have that mountainy lodge that just goes with the green and the trees, and it's just hard to beat.
Yep.
But since August, the ROFR Monster's been nibbling on a little bit of Grand Flow. And this last month, the highest that they bought back was 124, Andy.
I think that when that was sent in, had ROFR written all over it.
That contract was tribute. You know what I'm saying? It's
it was not going to pass no matter what. I mean, any buyer would take that one.
We knew the mouse couldn't pass that one up because 124, when they're selling it $100 more than that right now, yeah, the mouth's going to jump on that one.
Yes.
Other than that, though, it's been really, really, really quiet, other than the couple of grand flows that got bought back here recently.
We think that the monster's still sleeping. Disney's addressing a lot of other financial areas in the company, putting more money in the parks and resorts, really not focused in on buying back a Disney Vacation Club listing here or there. They'd probably take that money and reallocate it to something else.
That's kind of what I think. And I also think that they were having 4 open resorts that were active properties. And we recently sold out Grand Flow, but that still leaves us with Alani, Disneyland Hotel, and the Riviera. So they still have a lot of active inventory points to sell. And on top of it, they're going to be opening up a new tower here soon over at the Polynesian. And then the Fort Wilderness Cabins will be selling right after that. So that's going to be 5 different options.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't see any of them selling out.
Yeah, a lot of options for a family to consider when they're going in on a tour or talking to a vacation club guide.
Yeah, a lot of options on that one as well. So that's what's been happening in right of first refusal. I think it's fairly safe to say, without Disney buying things back, that the prices just tend to drop out. Yep. Nobody is bidding up their contracts because there's no fear of the ROFR monster coming back in and taking your deal. And I'm sorry, if you put in 124 when the average sales price is 160 on Grand Floridian, you're just asking to get bought back. And just looking at this, most of these have cooled down just a couple more dollars. Animal Kingdom down $6, $4 at Bay Lake. Interesting that Beach Club is back up. Beach Club is the darling gem of Walt Disney World, if you ask me.
You got Copper Creek up a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, in essence, Chad, as we talked a little bit about, it's essentially flat to slightly declining. And again, in part because the ROFR monster is still sleeping. When the ROFR monster wakes up, those prices are going to jump back up again.
That, and for everybody who's been paying attention, usually about mid-November, we start to get the annual dues notices or estimates for what they're going to be. So those of us that have been following the news saw the dues come out, and anytime the dues come due, that's a motivation for people to sell. And so I think what's happening is more sellers are starting to come into the market right now. And it's usually not until after Christmas that we start to see sales pick back up with everybody planning their future vacations.
Yeah, we're sitting roughly at about 500 listings, active listings. In another month from now, we might be up to 800, 850 like we typically start the year off with. But again, some great deals out there. We'll talk about that when we get to the inventory discussion.
Yeah. And then looking down here as well, as we come into the off-property or non-Walt Disney World resorts, we're seeing Alani at 106. That one was up $1. And Grand Cal was up a couple bucks as well, about 11. That's a neat little incline that we saw there. But then Hilton had drops $2. I'm not too worried about that. That's like a deviation. It's the trend line here from 85 on down. And the same thing with Vero that I start to see here at 85 or 61, 65, 59, 49. I don't ever recall seeing 49 price.
And that's got to be lower than what it was when it was sold initially when it opened up 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's, but even then, if you bought it 20 some odd years ago for 49 and you're selling it for 49 today, you had a pretty good run.
Yeah.
Right.
I always used to tell people you can vacation at Disney on the cost of your annual dues if you play this one right.
And the opportunity cost of what you've lost from the money that sat into the contract, like if it was earning interest someplace else. But it's still pretty good. And so, yeah, that Vero thing is, I have to think 2042 is also impacting that a little bit, Andy.
We're starting to see it'll be interesting to see what happens because next year it takes us down to, I think, 17 years before the end of the lease. So it'll be interesting to get to see 17, 18 years, something like that.
Yeah. So, but at the same point in time, when we come back up here to the top, you've got Beach Club with the same end date, not scaring anybody off. Boulder Ridge took quite the hit, but I mean, it jumped up last month. Yeah. So if you take last month's jump as an anomaly, it's still not doing bad. So it's not taking a hit yet. When you look over here at Boardwalk, it's cooled down a little bit, but it's still not drastic.
And you got Old Key West there too.
And then Old Key West, the original non-extended, that one's starting to see a little bit of a price drop here as well.
But Beach Club has always been the darling. We used to say 2 or 3 years ago, when you got a Beach Club listing, you were, gosh, just close your eyes and all you can see is dollar signs. But now it's starting to slow down a little bit too. So it'll be interesting. Come January with the down to 17 years left on the lease, it'll be interesting to see.
That's true. That is so true. Looking at this, Andy, what's your take? I'm still not afraid to buy. I'm still a buyer in this market, and I'm actually kind of liking the price reductions that we're starting to see here.
Yep, and I agree too. I believe it's a strong buyer's market with inventory at 500 listings. It's not going to be a $20 and $30 a point below the list price, but it's going to be a buyer's market where you can go in and leverage to the seller, especially with some of the older listings that have been around.
The other part that I'm looking at this is if I just move the 2042s aside and I buy something with 30 plus years left of life on it, I have room on that contract, even if it goes down from today, to use that contract for 5 to 7 years, sell it at a little bit of a loss. And let's just look at this Copper Creek, for example. Let's say I buy this at 145 today and it goes down to 120 in 7 years from now when I'm done with it. Well, I've really paid $25 a point plus my dues for 7 years of usage. That's the beauty of DVC, is there's always this huge market here for this. Yeah, I'm a big fan of buy resale, ride it out as long as it makes sense, and dump it.
Well, and as we all know, you're going to see the ups and downs of the prices. So is this an anomaly that's going to happen for the next couple of months? Maybe. But you know what? The economy is going to start to pick up next year. It's an election year, unfortunately, good or bad. And, you're going to see Disney coming back very, very strong as well.
Yeah. And here we've got the data from before us there, and you can really start to see the ups and downs. So yeah, I'm still not worried about that. None of that phases me at this point in time. If I'm interested in DVC and I'm committed to come on Disney vacations for the next 5 to 7 years, I think buying resale is still a really great way to go.
Yes.
If you're going to be more than that, then I might change my strategy up a little bit, but I know that that's a pretty safe bet.
Yes.
Let's come back in, Andy, because you put this on our show notes as well, and you're just trying to make me drool. It's a subsidized dues Alani contract, 160 points. This thing is a darling gem. It is the cheapest dues in all of DVC right now.
Yep.
And
there's two of those out there.
Point, price per point listed at 145 and listed November 9th. So it has been on the market 1 month right now. If I was in the market right now, Andy, I would be looking at a subsidized dues Alani contract because you've got a couple of them out there. And as I come back over to the inventory and just hit back and go to this inventory page, price per point, status.
You want to go into status.
And then we want to come back into it and go subsidized dues.
Also click the guaranteed week because that's the other one that we want to bring up too.
Yeah, that one was an interesting contract as well. So status, and then we've got, let's see, guaranteed week.
There you go.
And there's some guaranteed week 52s, it looks like. Check that out.
So,
this one's a little bit of an investment right here, but at 125, you'd want to be going in August. Take good use of this.
Yep. A nice little legacy purchase. If you know you've got a large family, let's say 2 or 3 kids, and now all of a sudden you want to plan for when the kids have their families to be able to make an annual excursion to Hawaii, knowing that you're going to go every year at the same time or around the same dates is a pretty good listing to be taking a look at.
Yeah, that is. So guaranteed weeks, again, as the buyer, it doesn't cost you anything extra to get a guaranteed week. But what you do get is you don't have to fight for your reservation. And you can easily cancel it and get all the points. And then the other benefit to this is when they wrote this contract, that week was 608 points. If they adjust the point chart and that goes up to 650 points, your 608 points still buys you your week because it's guaranteed. It's like it's a hedge that really doesn't cost you much. I tend to like those. It's something I would be looking at if I was coming back into this. But now that we came back onto it and I scrolled onto it, I want to check out this Copper Creek ones. This is week 52. This is the most competitive time to stay at Copper Creek.
Yep. Studio unit, I think it is, right?
Yeah, it's got to be for 161 points.
Yeah.
So that's like the hottest studio in Walt Disney World at Christmas week.
Oh, I think maybe that and Grand Floridian. So those two together.
Yeah, but I mean, Grand Floridian's warm to hot all the time. This is this resort's peak time.
Yep.
So, like, it doesn't get any better than Christmas at
Wilderness Lodge.
Wilderness Lodge, yeah. And there you can start to see the dates, the check-in the 28th, 27th, 26th. So you're really doing New Year's, which in my opinion is better because you're still going to spend Christmas at home with your family. And then you're going to come down here for the end of the kids' break, and you've got your room all squared away.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm loving that one, Andy. I'm absolutely positively loving that one. Now let's shift over here, Andy, to talk about this news that came out at the Polynesian. I thought this was an incredibly odd announcement that came out that week, Andy. I did not anticipate this coming out, and I didn't anticipate it coming out in a Q&A thing.
I don't think they anticipated even having to mention it either. It may have come out inadvertently.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this was a slip up oops, because we're still like a year away from that resort opening up at least. And at least 6 to 9 months, because I just went by it this week. There's nothing on the exterior. It's not even framed in with windows yet.
Chad, typically my experience with Disney, I've been around this product for 15 years now, that to see an announcement like that at an HOA meeting, even if it was a slip, is so atypical Disney that I don't know, what their plans are, but we'll have to just go with the information that was let out, whether it was factual or whether it's to be substantiated. But we'll have to see what happens now. But we're selling the Polynesian listings are flying off the shelf. We started the day Thursday with 47. We added a couple more in for the day, and we're down. We sold, I think, 20 some over the course of the last 2 days.
That's just like hot, right? People are buying it on that leak. And yeah, it's they're flying off the shelf. So if that is true, I think those resale Polynesian contracts are going to be a phenomenal buy. Let's just come back in and back over to our inventory.
Yeah, we're down to 30 active listings at the Polynesian, the smallest to 50 points all the way up to, I think it's 650 or 700 points, 725 points. If somebody wants that one, you know how to call me, don't you?
Yeah.
Or they could do that 655 because it's got double points.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, wow, because Disney's going to price this out at least $230 a point.
Yeah.
Because we're at what, 220 something now for a point, and it's going up at least twice by the time they do this. About every 6 months, they tend to raise it $5-6.
And it's a big resort to sell out, so they're going to have an abundance of points there.
I'm looking at this and I'm going, these prices are just a smoking good deal for what that's going to end up being.
And there's a lot of history with that Polynesian resort. It was Walt and Lillian's favorite, the Hawaiian Islands. So that was their way to bring the Hawaiian Islands to the East Coast. And not many people know this too either. But Chad, do you know the Beatles actually signed their divorce papers there?
Yeah. They broke up there. I believe the room is a DVC room now, isn't it? It's people have looked up the exact room and tried to do the room request for it. And yeah, I'm almost thinking it's in the DVC buildings now. I think it's really kind of nerded out in my history.
Down the Yellow Brick Road somewhere.
Anyways, if you're interested in Polynesian, I think this qualifies as our sleep in, not on right now, because if that leak is really true, that's going to be a phenomenal resort to own, because the big knock there was you only had studios or bungalows. And if they combine this, Andy, I think they're going to revise the point charts when they sell this and kind of rebalance everything out a little bit as well. I wouldn't be shocked if that doesn't happen.
And that's the only way they can change the point charts for the bungalows. When I talked to a family about the Polynesian, as a home resort, the question or comment I have with them is always going to be, you can stay in the studio that sleeps 5 and it's somewhere between 20 and 25 points a night, or you can stay in the bungalows for an 18-hour rental for 1 million points a night. Which one are you going to actually use for your home resort? So again,
That's kind of it.
Yeah, the only way they can change that and fix that is through the rebalancing, and that is to include the Polynesian in the new Polynesian tower in the existing homeowners association.
That's kind of what I think the play will be here. That's just my speculation on it, and I hope that comes true. I hope that it is the same association, because I own 100 points there, Andy, and I wouldn't mind picking up a little bit more so that I could combine them at the 11-month mark and actually get another option at a 1-bedroom on the monorail.
Yeah, it's just again, I'm still trying to pinch myself that this came out well in advance of any public announcement of something like that.
I will take it if it's true. We'll have to see if Disney stands behind it or if that was a, oops, we shouldn't have said that kind of moment. So time will tell on this one. Time will tell. Either way, I still think Polynesian is a pretty good buy. The other thing that I like about this is those rooms rent out exceptionally well, because the rental price usually comes in around $350, $400 a night. And the same resort for cash is usually over $500 a night. Yeah. So people who want to stay there, there's a pretty valid rental market there for the Polynesian.
And again,
who want to stay at the resort and save some money.
And the nice reason about that is you take a boat ride over to the Magic Kingdom or your footsteps over to the transportation center. Then you can get over to Hollywood Studios and Epcot fairly easily. So it's the only resort that has that easy access to 3 of the parks.
I think that's key, is because at least from the DVC buildings today, it's as short of walk to the TTC monorail station as it is the main monorail station for the Poly. So if you're going to walk to TTC, you can just walk up the ramp to the Epcot one.
Yeah.
And you don't have to change monorails at all, like Bay Lake and the Grand Flow has to do. They go to Epcot. When they come and go to Epcot, they got to change monorails. At Poly, you can just walk to the Epcot one straight, and it's just not really any farther at all.
Yeah, it's easy peasy.
Yeah.
A couple other things I want to talk about on inventory. We sort of glanced over them. I know you want to talk about the sign and stay, but there's also, as of last night, this morning, there was 9 double point listings, Chad. So that's for the audience's perspective, that those are listings that will get you points from 2023 with no dues to pay for those 2023. So it's like the seller is paying for your next vacation, which is kind of a neat thing. So
just to demonstrate it here, status, I clicked on double points. And we're down to 8 of those now, Andy.
Okay, good. So 1 sold this morning. That's great.
Yeah. So Animal Kingdom, Boardwalk, Boulder Ridge, Copper Creek, Grand Cal. And that's double points. And that's only $10 more than the average. That's a pretty smoking good deal right now.
Yep.
And for those of you who don't know, if you're looking at, how do I get a little bit more down payment on these? You can buy these double point contracts and instantly rent the points out and strip them. And get 75% of the money back from DVC Rental Store and use that as kind of to pay down some of your down payment or pay extra principal on the loan. Yep. That's a very valid strategy. I did that with the Bay Lake contract, and it really, really, really worked out well.
Mm-hmm. You could just reach out to somebody at the DVC Rental Store, one of our sister companies.
I love me some double point contracts, Andy. Love them.
And then, Chad, if you can go in the status bar and click the sign and stay. Sign and stay. That is a world's first sign and stay. No money down from a buyer's perspective until once the contract closes, your payment will be due to Monera. It's got to be financed through Monera. But these, again, this is like the Polynesian listings this past week. These are flying off the shelf. What a great way to wrap up a gift for the next 5 nights of Hanukkah or Christmas coming up, where you can jump into a DVC membership at almost all of the resorts that we have out there and package this up so that you don't have to worry about any out of money or any out of pocket money prior to the contract closing. And then once it does close, Chad, you can schedule that first trip. So you're sort of giving your family a trip with nothing to cost out of pocket and having it wrapped up for the holidays. Very exciting.
Yeah, that's a definite I mean that is some creative marketing right there. Figuring out how to get the seller and Monera and everybody on board that works out. That's a pretty decent deal. Okay. Yep. And it looks like these are priced around the average. Now you're not getting the 2024 points,
but you're also not paying the dues either.
Yeah, you're not paying the dues on them. And yeah, so sign and stay promotion. You can reach out to Andy if you'd like more information on that. And we're seeing a wide variety of resorts that are in this. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Old Key West, Poly.
Good cross section. That promotion does end in another week and a half or so. So you want to get them in now and jump on them, because when they're gone, they're gone. It's sort of like that Costco market where you go in and the end caps. When the end cap is sold out, there's no more of those units left.
Well, that's kind of everything at DVC Resale Market, because you're buying an existing listing. And so if there's not a listing that's there for the size, the resort, the use year that you want, if you find something that's close to what you want, you kind of need to move on it, because the market will move and it won't be there. That's kind of my experience on it is. Yep. If it's the resort size and use year that you want, you need to come in and work on price then and see if you can put a deal together, because they don't stay. They really don't stay, especially if you're looking for a small contract, because those things just fly off the market. And the reason why they do is they cost less money, and everybody has add-on-itis, and well, I could always use an extra 50 points.
And we get a lot of families who will do the small 25 to 45 to 60 point contracts, because through banking and borrowing, Chad, now you're looking at 3 years of points will get you a studio for a week that you could reserve every 3 years at the 11-month window.
Yep, most definitely. And coming back in, let's circle on to some of our comments here, Andy. Good morning to Eddie Garcia.
Hello, Garcia family.
Our friend Rye says, I love these market updates so much that I'm at 5:30 a.m. on a Saturday to watch my favorite DVC experts. We are honored here, Rye. Thank you so much.
Aloha kakiaka, Rye.
Yeah, he's in Hawaii. So, and Frederica was saying, can they walk back the poly statement? I wouldn't be surprised if it was a misspoken, or if it was something that wasn't true, that they don't come back in and correct that. But yeah. And then Ryan wants to know what's with DVC pushing all of those refurbs into 2025. That's a whole lot of construction.
It's basically a cost savings move or a cash flow savings move.
Yeah, or timing or something, because they should have the cash, because they accrue for it. We pay for that every year in our dues to build up that little war fund and little war chest to come back in and do those. Mm-hmm. So I don't see it as a cash shortage. I see it maybe as a management shortage or construction crew shortage or something along those lines as well.
And just in case there's any new listeners out there wondering, has DVC ever had any special assessments for refurbs or rehabs? And as we all know, the existing or the longer term DVC members, we've never had or we've never experienced any supplemental annual dues bills resulting from refurbs. Not
from a refurb, but we have seen them from hurricanes. So over at Hilton Head and Vero, they have tacked on a little bit of a extra bump where they spread it out over a few years as well. But that's the only time we've seen it, is Hilton Head and Vero, and from major hurricane damage as well there. But that's all that I know there. So, okay, well, we're caught up with our comments here, Andy. Let's do this. Let's give everybody a way to find you. And that would be Andy at dvcresalemarket.com, 949-412-0850. And if you forget his
way to remember
name,
me is
the bottom of Andy's boot.
Woody's boot, Chad.
Well, it could be Andy's boot.
I think you need to go over to Walt Disney World today and Hollywood Studios and take a look at Toy Story Land.
I think that's my penance here, Andy, for messing that one up.
But where are we headed today, Chad? Today is another hide and seek day at the parks at Disneyland. So my wife Jolie and I will be venturing up this afternoon to play hide and seek with as many members as we can find out there. And if you track me down, there will be a special little gift for you waiting. Yeah, we had Andy so much fun doing this last month. I think we ran across 16 different member families over the course of the time we were there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to like buy some pins or buttons or something like that for, and we talked about doing this for the whole team here at My DVC Points. We were going to get magnets made up that said Friends in the Wild.
Oh, that's
because that's what Marianne starts calling it, is when she starts to see friends that we've made through the show out there in the parks, and they run into them, friends in the wild.
It's just kind of fun. I like getting up to see the parks at the holiday time. So, and it's just fun to see familiar faces. Today I know we're going to meet up with a family from the Washington State area that were down here this past week for the Disney or the Southern California Adventures by Disney trip. So we're going to meet up with them, and I'm sure we're going to trip onto a couple other members as well. We'll probably stop by the member lounge to say hello to people. And I got to pick up the new holiday sliders for my Magic Band. I haven't gotten any of that yet.
Oh, yeah. I haven't done that yet either. So
maybe I'll grab one for you too. Oh, Chad, where are you going to be next week, Chad?
Well, today I'm going to play hide and seek at Epcot, and I'm going to pop over there and at least ride Guardians and probably drop in around Candlelight as well. But next Friday, I'm headed to Disneyland. So I will be staying at the villas at Disneyland Tower Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. And then Monday night, I will go home to Detroit.
Nice.
And so would love to come back in. I know, Andy, we're talking about getting together some of those times, and people are welcome to hop in and meet us. I know Caleb from the team will be there as well. Gina's already got her park reservations.
So we'll have to do 2 weekends back to back of hide and seek.
Yeah, there we go.
That'd be fun.
There we go. Well, that pretty much wraps up our show for today and all the content that we wanted to go over. If you guys have questions, give Andy a shout. Email, cell phone number down below, Andy at dvcresalemarket.com, 949-412-0850. Huge shout out of thanks to DVC Resale Market and World of DVC for sponsoring season 10 of the My DVC Points platform. It's hard to believe, Andy. We're also in season 10. We've been doing this 5 years now.
Every year should be just a monumental event. It's really cool. But I'm signing up for the 300th episode edition.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay. Well, we've got a spot reserved there.
In closing, I want to wish on behalf of my family and the entire team at the DVC Resale Market a very happy, healthy, and safe holiday season for all. Go out and do something fun, but I always say do something fun, but don't get in trouble, please.
Yeah, not too much fun. Not too much fun. Not too much fun. Anyways, you guys, thanks for tuning in. You guys have a very happy holiday season. We'll be back in January to see what's happening with the poly thing, what's going on with right of first refusal, prices, and all of that fun stuff that's coming out. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great day.
Meli Kamikimaka.
Ladies and gentlemen, please watch your head and step as you exit, and take small children by the hand.
Aw, chill up, Dad. You know I'll come back. With DVC.
My DVC Points is an unofficial Disney-inspired podcast created by fans of Disney Vacation Club. The thoughts expressed in this podcast are personal opinions and personal experiences. My DVC Points is not affiliated with Disney Vacation Club, the Walt Disney Companies, or any subsidiaries. We encourage listeners to contact their DVC guide or member services for official DVC policies.